What's happening, Celtic family? I hope you're all doing well out there. If you're new to the channel, please smash that subscribe button below and give a thumbs up. It would be greatly appreciated. Cheers. So firstly, let me apologise. I know I look like shit and I sound like shit, but I've actually been hit with this bug that's going about. And I know if a lot of yous have been hit by the bug, you know what it feels like. It's been horrendous. So I know there's been a lot of people on my TikTok sending me direct messages asking where the hell I've been, because the plan was obviously to talk about and give my starting 11 prediction through the week, but I just I couldn't bring myself to do it. I was just ill, and I'm still feeling the effects of it now. Getting a wee bit better, but still feeling the effects of it now. But watching that performance definitely didn't make me feel any better, because that first half performance specifically was absolutely horrendous to watch. I think Celtic just get into their heads that it's like a formality that they're just going to go to the likes of St Johnstone and win a game of football, whereas I thought St Johnstone played really well, so I'm going to take absolutely nothing away from them. It's exactly what their manager said before the game. I watched the interviews before the game, and they said that they wanted to hit Celtic early, try and get an early goal, and then just sit in the low block. And fair play, he said that that's what he wanted to do. That was the game plan, and I thought they executed it pretty well, because that's exactly what they've done, and they made it very, very difficult for Celtic, especially in that sort of first half, to get anything out of the game. Again, I thought Celtic were absolutely horrendous in the first half. Second half, we played a lot better, but we seem to be that sort of one-half team, and we have been that one-half team for big periods of this season, where we've either had a good first half and a shit second half, or a shit first half and a better second half. But yeah, if you look at the first half performance, it's just not good enough. As a Celtic team, it's not good enough. And I thought the likes of Kuhn coming off, because there has been a massive drop off with Kuhn. I think we can all see that. He started off the season absolutely on fire. The guy was brilliant. But I would say the last, maybe just even before the start of the year, I think that he started to take a bit of a hit, and then definitely in the new year when he heard that the likes of Jota was coming back, there's definitely, I didn't want to see it for long enough. People were saying it to me, but I didn't want to see it. But I am starting to see it now. That just seems to be, since Jota's came back, he's definitely not been performing to the levels that he was at the start of the year. But now Yang is seeming to sort of step up to the mark. So therefore, for me, right now on current form, you would have to favour Yang before Kuhn. And at the start of the season, that's definitely not something that any of us were saying. And we couldn't see past Kuhn, because I think at the start of the season, even sort of October, November, we were all talking about how Kuhn was going to get the Player of the Year. And rightly so, because he had been fantastic. But yeah, over the last wee while, definitely not good enough. And it was good to see that Brendan Rodgers has just now got to the stage that he's just not going to take any shit off people. And if you're not performing well enough in the first half, then by the time it comes to half time, you will be taken off. I think Brendan Rodgers learned a lot from that game against Rangers at Ibrox in January, as we all shouted that there should have been a few people hooked at half time. He's definitely listened, because he's done that a few times now. He's not leaving it until 60 minutes. He's not leaving it. He's not giving them, okay, you've had a shit first half, now you've got another 20 minutes or something to go on and really try and prove why I should keep you on. if they're not performing in the first half, then they will be taken off at half time. And I thought that was the best bet. He had to do it. Kuhn just wasn't performing. And I thought the substitutions made a difference when they came on. I thought Yang played pretty well. And I thought the likes of James Forrest, when James Forrest came on, I thought he looked good. And also, it's not like us to say that Maeda just wasn't really on form, but he wasn't really feeling it today for whatever reason. But again, take nothing away from St Johnstone. I thought Fisher in goals for them, he had an outstanding game. He did. But Celtic also made it extremely easy for them. Anytime they had a shot on goal, it was kind of right down the middle. I can't really remember one that he pulled off an absolutely fantastic save. It was kind of just straight at him every time. But don't get me wrong, I thought Fisher was good for St Johnstone. And as I said, I'm taking nothing away from St Johnstone. They made it very difficult for Celtic. So where does this see us? That we just have to wait now to be crowned champions. We're not going to be crowned champions now next week against Kilmarnock, which is a shame. But we are just putting off the inevitable. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen at some point. But it would have been nice to get a result today and then go to Kilmarnock, to go to Celtic Park and face Kilmarnock next week and hopefully have had won it. But listen, I'm seeing in the comment section of a lot of people's there, I had a wee look there to say that, these games aren't a given. And it's so true. They're not a given. You might be the top of the league and St Johnstone might be at the bottom of the league, but they're not a given. And that's where Celtic get complacent, I think, when it comes to games like that. Not even that. When it came to the last two Rangers games for me, Celtic have just been way too complacent because they've known how good a form that Celtic were in and that Rangers are awful. But I just think that, you can't get complacent. You can't be... It's exactly what Brendan Rodgers said in his post-match interview there. I had a wee watch about it. How we seem to perform when we're the underdogs then. Yeah, but you can't look at it like that. If that's the case, then that you should be treating every game like that. Now I know Celtic going to St Johnstone, it's hard to say to try and treat it as we are the underdogs because we're clearly not. But we should be absolutely leathering these teams. It's as simple as that. How good Celtic are, we should be absolutely leathering teams in the Scottish Premiership. I know that Brendan Rodgers says you can't expect to win 3-4-0 all the time. Why not? Why not? Celtic are far more formidable side than any of these Scottish Premier teams. They are. It's as simple as that. Rangers, any single one of them. Celtic are so much better. But yet, we perform like that against St Johnstone. It's not acceptable. So we've got to face St Johnstone again in the Scottish Cup semi-final. And even though we lost today, that doesn't change for me that I think Celtic should beat St Johnstone pretty easily again at Hampden Park. Again, it's a semi-final and Celtic will step up to the mark as we normally do. But that shouldn't take anything away from that game there. Celtic should be stepping up to the mark, but especially that first half performance was just, it was shocking. And St Johnstone already had their goal and they were willing to defend it, and that's what they've done. They've done that pretty well. But yeah, take nothing away from St Johnstone. Listen, they defended well and they made it difficult for Celtic, but I think that Hampden Park will be a different story. I might be wrong, but I do believe that Celtic should win against St Johnstone in the semi-final, and it should be a pretty convincing, comfortable win. But listen, it is what it is. We move on, and it would have been nice to win that game today to then go to Celtic Park next week and hopefully just put it all to bed and we would have been crowned champions, but it's not to be. But listen, I'm going to take off right now because I feel like absolute dog shit, But listen, I will speak to you again possibly through the week. And hopefully I'm feeling a wee bit better where we can get more of a chat. But whatever you guys are up to for the rest of the week, I hope you have a good one. Stay safe out there, Celtic family. Hail, hail. Take it easy.